Hello, welcome to Crafting with the Crafty Chick. This is video number 2 for our mini curvy keepsake box die carrier. Last video we made the curvy keepsake boxes, and now we're going to make the carrier for them. So before we get started, the things you're going to need for this project is your take your pick tool or your paper piercer, your mono glue or your adhesive of choice, and tear and tape or some kind of a high-tack adhesive. This is great for when you're putting 3D projects together. Mono glue works just as well. So you're going to need those for putting this project together. And so in your kit you've got several pieces. Remember, don't forget, this is the long white and silver baker's twine that we're going to need to use on our handle. And so we want to make sure we have that. And then you also have 2 pieces for the sentiment. And this is for the front of your carrier. Let me see if I can do this without dumping out all the boxes. Oh, nope, I didn't. But it's your sentiment piece here. Probably take these guys out since we don't need them in here to put this together. Okay. So you have those pieces, and then in your kit you also have 4 real red strips that are embossed with white snowflakes. And then this is our inside liner. This is a template of what our box is going to look like excuse me, after we make our cuts. And so this is a template I wanted to show you, and I will have all of the dimensions for you at the end of this video. I've written them all down for you guys, so I will show that at the end of the video. But I will tell you, there's an extra piece here. Okay, this is Coastal Cabana, and this is 7 inches by 7 inches. So you get 1 out of each sheet of cardstock, and then you're going to score it all 4 sides at 3/4 of an inch and 1.5 inches, and you do that on all 4 sides. And so these squares here, so basically up here you have 4 squares, and we got those from scoring. And the outer corner we're going to cut away, and then the corner beside it, the box beside it I should say, and then the one below it, we're going to cut all of those away, leaving this square intact. I don't know if you guys can see that. And so we're going to do that on all 4 corners. Oh, I see, you can actually see the score lines here. And so these are the 2 we're going to cut away, and then the one beside it, leaving this one intact. So that's just a template. And then I've done one already, so you guys can see. I'm going to move this one out of the way. So actually, let me put this under here because this really kind of gives you an idea. And so remember, we have 1 that we're leaving intact, and these all get cut away. So I have a piece here that I'm going to go through each step with you. So we're going to start with this piece here, and all your score lines should be done. So we're going to take our bone folder and we're going to sharpen those crease lines. We're going to do that on all 4 sides. Move our string out of the way. Like I said, I love these colors together. The real red, the pool party, and the Coastal Cabana. There was a product from last year that was part of our snowman stamp set. I'm trying to remember the name of it. And they did a lot of projects with this color combination. I just love these 3 colors together. Okay, so now you have sharpened all of your score lines, and so now we are ready for, oh, you need scissors. Sorry. I'm going to use my really cool fussy cutting scissors from my very dear friend. Okay. So remember, we're going to, my goodness, sorry about that. I'm just throwing things around today. So we're going to cut away these 2 squares up at the top and the one right underneath the outer corner one. So we're going to start by doing our cuts now. Let me get this out of the way. Okay. And so it actually is easiest just to do your cut right up this outer corner here. And so we're going to do that. And I just make my cut, and you want to go up to this score line right here and then stop. Do not continue cutting. So basically you're going to have just this flap down here. And then we're going to cut up this middle score line here up to that intersecting score line. Okay, and so now this is, we want to keep this one intact, and we want to cut these ones away. And so we're going to turn this around this way and just cut on this score line here. And you're getting rid of those 2 squares. So basically you should have 2 squares left. But remember, we want to keep this one, so we're going to cut away this one. And so then you have kind of a stair effect going there. And so now we're going to do that on all 4 sides, but I wanted to show you also we want to do miter cuts, and so we can do those now, or we can do those all at the same time. I like to do them all at once, so I'm just going to go ahead and continue cutting. So we're going to cut up this score line here, up to this intersecting score line. I'm going to turn this, oh no, and we're going to cut up this score line. We're going to cut the outer 2 completely away. We want to keep this one intact here, and we're going to cut this bottom square completely away. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to turn this around. I'm going to cut this score line going up to the intersecting score line. And then you want to cut up this score line. And we're going to completely remove these 2 outer squares. Keep this one intact, and we're going to get rid of this bottom square down here. Okay, one more to go. And we're going to cut up this score line up to that intersecting, and you want to cut up this score line. And we want to completely get rid of these 2 outer boxes. And then we want to keep this one intact, and we're going to get rid of this bottom square here. So this is what your carrier should look like. Okay, and remember, you should have 4 flaps here. These are actually going to be our inside tabs. So So now what I'm going to do, let me see if I can bring this in and show you guys. I have done wedge cuts here at the end of all 4 of my tabs, and that just makes it easier so that when we go to fold them in, it's a nice flush edge and it's not going to be sticking out above, so when we go to fold this over, it's not going to prevent that from happening. And so what I'm going to do is just make all my wedge cuts on my tabs now. So you just kind of at an angle. Some people call them wedge cuts, some people call them mitered cut, whatever your term is you use. And you want to do that on both sides. And so now I have my wedge cuts on my tab. We're going to do the same thing on the other 4 tabs. Okay, turn this around. Okay, so I got a piece there. And then those are all of the cuts we need to make. So I'm going to put these away here. Okay, so this is what your carrier should look like. So you now have all your mitered cuts or your wedge cuts on your tabs. And so now we're going to turn this over because this is actually our inside. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take our liner and glue that to the inside bottom. You just try to center it so that you have a nice even border of the coastal cabana on all 4 sides. Okay. This comes together really easy, I promise. So now what we're going to do is we're going to turn this back over. And you guys have your 4 snowflake embossed red strips. So you're going to take 2 of those. We're going to set 2 off to the side, and I'll explain to you why in a minute. But you're going to secure these. You're going to glue these to the top and the bottom pieces. We're not going to do the side. When we are ready, we will do those. But we're going to hold off on that. And we're going to go ahead and secure. You want to make sure that you're not doing it across the top one, but you want to get it across the bottom. And I'm going to tell you why also. So we're going to go ahead and glue that down. And make sure that's secure. Give that a minute to bond. I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom. It took me like 3 days, chunks of time in 3 days to emboss all of these pieces between the curvy keeps it box type and the carrier. Used quite a bit of white embossing powder, but let me tell you, I still have quite a bit left in my container, so it goes a long way. And it's cheaper than purchasing bulk amounts of DSP. If you want to kind of create your own pattern paper, you can really do that very well with embossing. Okay, so now I'm going to explain to you why you want to make sure you have those as close to your box part, because when we go to assemble this, what we do is the tabs are going to get folded inward, and then this kind of comes this way. So these pieces here are going to have tear and tape, and so what's going to happen is it actually gets folded over like this. And so you don't want your, let me show you on a piece that. So your inside tabs are going to go in, and you're going to bring it this way like you're assembling your box. And so this piece is going to cover your tabs, but you still have this piece, which is, this top piece gets folded over. And so that is your outside. So you don't want to stick this on this piece, which is inside, unless you want to. It's just, you're not really going to see it. Okay? And then, the reason we don't want to put these two pieces on yet is because we want to, when we put our handle on, to help secure and better support the handle, you want to put your piece over the top of that. I wasn't thinking about that when I did mine, so my handle actually goes over the top, but I just feel like you can secure it better when you put it underneath this piece. So that's the reason we're not going to put these on. We will, after we get our box together, we will attach our handle and then secure these pieces over the top. Okay, so now what we're going to do is your high tack adhesive or your tear and tape, whatever you like to use. Let me get my other scissors. I don't like to use my awesome fussy cutting scissors to cut things like this away because I don't want to gum them up. And sometimes tearing, I like a nice clean edge, and so I prefer to cut it rather than tear it. So let me bring in our template. So I just want to show you on our tabs, you want to place your adhesive as close to the box as you can. So you want to have it up here at this edge. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. And you want to do all 4 tabs. I cut that piece a little too long. The other thing I like about this is that I cut a piece too long, which is okay because when I peel this backing away, I can actually take that and fold it over on itself, and so I'm not losing anything. Okay. So now you have that on your tabs, and so now what we're going to do is we're going to turn our box over because we have more adhesive we want to put on this side. Remember I showed you we're actually going to fold these in. So now we need to put adhesive on all 4 outer flaps, and you want to have it as close to the edges as much as possible. I love this tear and tape. It works so well. And sometimes just a little trick here, you can wear it like a bracelet and it makes it easier to just, because all you have to do is just guide where you want to put it. And then for those of you who tear it, you just tear it. And that's okay if I didn't cut it because nobody's going to see. It's going to get covered up. Okay. Oop. I'm just making sure that those are completely secured to that. Okay, we are almost ready to put our box together. So the first thing we're going to want to do is take your pick tool or your paper piercer, and remove the backing away from your little tabs. Okay. And remember, this one I put too long of a piece, so I'm actually going to take that and fold it over. There we go. Okay, just remember when you go to turn this over, all 4 adhesive sides are exposed, so you don't want it to stick to anything. And so what I'm actually going to do, and I do this in mid-air, is I take one side, and you're going to take your tab and you're going to bring them towards you, and then you're going to take these 2 sides and lift and bring them inward. And so what we're doing is, and you can set this down now on a flat surface. So you have your tabs. Oh, I forgot about this part. We want to take this adhesive backing away. So you want to have all of these exposed now. So you're going to bring in your side flaps here. And so these are going to adhere to this piece here. And so I'm bringing this piece toward me. And you can do one side at a time if that makes you feel better for lining it up. And so now your box should look like this. It's just the beginning. Remember, this part, the adhesive is exposed. So now what I like to do is turn this around. And you're going to fold this piece downward, which is going to cover up these side flaps. And then that is side 1 of your box. And so what I'm doing is I'm actually securing that. And you can use your bone folder if you want. So now you've just made your first side wall or side of your box. So we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Remember, this is exposed adhesive, and I'm going to peel this backing away. And so we're going to bring in, and you can do one side at a time if that's your preference. And securing those side tabs in. And then you have your exposed adhesive here. So I'm going to turn this around and I'm going to just fold that flap in and down. And that secures that. It makes that side of my box. So basically this is the start of your little carrier. Okay, and so we have our side flaps, which we don't want to secure yet because we want to get our handle attached. So I'm going to just bring these in to form the side box. Just kind of want to get that so you have a nice square. So what I'm doing is I'm going to put mono glue on the edge here, and you just kind of center it. So if you want to use a guide and measure, but I'm just trying to get it right in the center. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that on. So I'm going to put that right in the center there, and I'm just going to hold it for a minute. And you can use mono glue, you can use your high-tack adhesive. Just remember, it is a 3D item that will be held and picked up a lot by this handle. So you want something strong that's going to hold. Oh, another tip is you take your bone folder really gently and you kind of run it along like when you're curling ribbon. It just kind of helps to create that curve in your handle. I almost forgot to tell you that. And then you're going to do the same thing on the other end. You're going to put adhesive or glue on the other end of your handle. Bring that in, center it. I'm going to hold that for just a minute. So cute. So cute. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and glue these right over the top of the handle. And that just gives a little extra support and stability for our handle. And you can, if you wanted to, put this side flush against a flat surface and really take your finger or your bone folder and run over that. Make sure you've got that completely bonded. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Who knew what you could do with just a few sheets of paper and a couple stamps and sparkly stuff, right? I love making 3D things, boxes and bags, and because it's something nobody can go in a store and find and buy 20 of. It's something homemade. Okay, so now we have all 4 real red strips on the outside of our carrier. So now remember those side flaps that we brought in? I'm going to bring them back out. On both sides. Might have to get underneath the corner of that one. I have no nails right now. All of my nails have broken between working outside and washing dishes and glass jars, getting them ready for canning. So my nails have become very soft and I've broken a lot of them. Okay, so now I'm going to peel away this adhesive backing on both sides. And if you wanted to do this step before you put your handle on, if it's easier for you, you can. Okay. So now I'm going to fold these over in and secure them down. I'm running my bone folder along the inside to make sure that bonds. And then doing the same thing on this side. Okay. So that's the start of your carrier. So in your kit you have, remember you have a wisp of white piece, which goes behind your sentiment piece. And then you have sparkly snowflakes and a tag. We're going to get all of these out now. You will need to get your dimensionals out. Mini dimensionals if you have them. If you don't and you have the regular size one, you can always cut these down to fit. Get our snowflakes out. Okay. Alright, so we are going to start by attaching our sentiment piece to our white piece, and we're going to use regular dimensionals to do that. And so what I did was I put one in each corner, and then 2 down the center. Whoop. Peel this backing away. See, again, I don't have any nails. A lot of them broke off. Okay, and then we're going to attach our sentiment piece to our whisper white piece, and you want to make sure you leave a white border all the way around. Okay, and we're going to set that off to the side, and then you should have 3 sparkly snowflakes. We're going to turn those over, and we're going to attach mini dimensionals to the backs of those. You just attach them right in the center of the snowflake. Okay. I'm just peeling off the backing. Okay, and then what you're going to want to do is one snowflake goes in this corner, and another snowflake goes down here in this corner of our sentiment piece. And then the other snowflake goes toward the bottom of your tag. Okay. And then you want to, your sentiment piece, you're going to glue along the bottom part and attach it to the front of your box. So just keep the glue toward the bottom. And make sure that your liner, your sentiment, is facing the right way before you attach your sentiment. And I'm going to hold that there for just a minute until it bonds. Okay, and there's the front of your carrier. So now we're going to take our tag and our baker's twine, our long piece that we had, and we're actually going to double this up. And so it's going to be doubled up. And you're going to run both of these pieces through the hole in your tag. Oh, I gotta start over. Okay. And then what you're going to do is try to make your ends about the same size as possible. And then we're going to, however it's easier for you, whether you have your box on the side or standing upright I'm going to just take this around, and you want to have your tag pretty much close to up underneath the handle as possible. You don't want it dangling too much. But we're going to tie this around our handle. So basically you have your looped end and your two cut ends. And what you want to do is go ahead and remember my tag is just right underneath my handle. We're going to tie this around our handle and then make a bow. And when you've got it right where you want it, go ahead and make your bow and tie that. And so now your tag just dangles from underneath your handle. I've got to fix this bow. Okay. And then there's your little carrier for your curvy keepsake box dies. So I'm going to go ahead and, so I've staggered them, so I have a real red and a pool party, and then a pool party, and then a real red. And so there you have it. And there is your mini curvy keepsake box die carrier. Okay, and as promised, I told you guys I would give you the dimensions for that. And so I hope you guys can see. So the base is 7 by 7. You score at 3/4 of an inch and 1.5 inches on all four sides. And then our embossed snowflake strips are 5/8 of an inch by 3 7/8, and you need 4 of those. And then your real red liner, which goes inside your curvy keepsake box carrier, is just liner inside, and that one is 3 3/4 inches by 3 3/4 inches. And then our handle is 13/16 of an inch by 11 inches. And then our white layer that's underneath our sentiment piece is 1 1/8 inches by 3 3/8. And then our sentiment piece is 1 inch by 3 1/4 inches. And that's a sentiment piece here. Okay. And there's a candy that is so yummy, and I don't think I'm saying it right, but they're the little gold foil balls, and Costco usually before the holidays will have a whole big box of them for a great price. And I think they're Ferrero Rochers. I know I'm not saying that right, but one of those will fit perfectly in these curvy keepsake box dies. So that would just be a fun little treat to give to someone for the holidays. Okay, thank you so much for crafting with the Crafty Chick today. I love you all, and I will see you for the next project. Bye-bye.